Hey y'all, what's going on? It's me, Star Fox 3D 64, my favorite console. Actually, it's me, Majority. If you don't know, well, that's my name. It's my handle here on YouTube. It's been since I made the channel, and yep, so I'm out here recording a video on this sunny day. The sun is out, it's a Sunday, and I've got a lot that I want to talk about. I've been having the itch, make a video. Sunday is my chill day, so making a video is always kind of calming and chill, and gives me like an expressive outlet. So I'm looking forward to doing that right now. There's a lot that I want to talk about that I don't know that I could even hope to tackle half of it, especially in one video. And part of it that I want to talk about is this idea of terminal internet usage, just being online terminally, like never ending, or at least the feeling of it. But it really starts with, gosh, where does it start? Wow, I gotta dig back here, because I feel like, you know, in my era of like grade school and growing up, I wouldn't say I was pushed to use, but I definitely had like MySpace and Facebook present in my life, and they were like big things online to invest your time into. And gaming used to kind of be separate from that, so I never really viewed gaming online as, or even gaming in general, as like being online. But the internet and connectivity and being social online through social media was ingrained in my brain for a long time as normal and normalized. And I think even as it's become more apparent that like that's not normal, people still treat it as normal. And over the years, it's maintained a presence like as a social outlet that I think is not a substitute for real life social engagement. And it's become easier as I've gotten older to socialize in person with people, and also to see people who are treating socialization in person similarly and not just absorbed into social media or their phones. Phones have been like another blip in the timeline where I think it's interrupted in-person socialization. I don't think it was as disruptive before smartphones, but it was still disruptive. And I think people still spent time terminally online then. And I think the smartphone era really, that probably started taking off, I would say 2016, 2017, where I started noticing it more in person. And I started feeling this kind of fatalistic view about, you know, hanging out in person and seeing people, because I didn't get the sense anybody wanted to anymore. I resorted to dating apps to meet people because I felt like there was no like real way to go about meeting people other than the bar, and I wanted to avoid the bar because I always had a bad impression of the bar and meeting people through drinks. And while I still see that to some extent, like there being a problematic approach with that, I think that like online tends to have the same issues. It doesn't mean you can't meet great people online. I met my wife online, and I am not regretful in the slightest about that. In fact, I'm delighted. I've had the best day of my life at my wedding, which is insane to say. I never would have thought that would be the case, but I still think that I desperately searched for an outlet or a means. Pardon, it's just the sun is killing me right now. To substitute the lack of socialization through online socialization. And I think it's similar too. It's like I don't regret the friends I've made online. I've made some great friends online, and it served its purpose for its time. However, it also kind of distracted me from the reality of how actually easy it can be to just socialize in person and meet people in person. For a long time, I really felt like I had no friends or close friends in person that I could talk with. And, you know, I remember I started working at my job, and basically even my career, I should say, because I've done the same career for 9 years now. But even before that, I had jobs, and none of them did I feel a sense of I can engage and interact with this person on a friendly basis. They were more coworkers to me than anything. And that changed a bit as I got older, and I've met people who I think are closer to friends and who have been friends to me, even at work and even just from high school. I've reached out to several of them and talked with them and engaged with them in friendly manners. And my perception has shifted. It's shifted because I really found it impossible, and especially when you write off something like drinking, like, oh, it's bad, you shouldn't do it with people. Well, the drinking helps. Just, try not to do it in abundance to the point of being blatantly an alcoholic or dependent on drugs, weed or something to, fraternize. I think, too, it's like college jades you in a sense, because you think those are really like the end-all be-all ways of socialization, and so I met some great people in college as well, but again, I felt like dependent on substances, using substances in order to facilitate your conversations or whatever. And I really, really wanted to get away from that when I came home. I was like, I just want to be able to be person to person. I don't want our friendship to be defined by substance. And I had a friend like this in college where it was like, every time we hung out, he took me drinking. We always went drinking. He had a boat. We went on his boat. We were drinking on the boat. And I was sick of it. He got me so drunk. I didn't, but it was so cool to be on the boat too. So it was like to the trade-off. But I got sick of it, and I ended up blocking the guy on my phone because I genuinely felt like the relationship was toxic for me, off of a literal toxic substance that can kill you when consumed in the abundance that it was. Like, we were getting pictures of Pabst Blue Ribbon. Like, do you know how gross that shit is? It's so bad. But it was a desperate attempt to try and meet people. And the problem with the alcohol too is, like, the alcohol, when consumed in the abundance, can really drive your emotions over the edge to a point where you're just like not really seeing reality, and you're kind of becoming like a more jaded, gross form of yourself too. But there are times too where it's fun to kind of like also let loose and just have fun like that. Like my bachelor's party, man, like that, how are you not going to get absolutely trashed at your bachelor's party if you're not like allergic to booze or something? Like go crazy, go wild. But that's kind of my point too, is like, because I was so resistant to in-person socialization, I feel like in my 20s, there was so much potential to just go out, go have fun, go invite people. Hey, what are you doing? What do you want to go to the bar? Do you want to do this? And I feel like I really tried. I tried with a lot of coworkers, and it was just, it felt impossible. It felt impossible to engage in social habits healthily. So what I did was, I spent like every weekend working on YouTube videos and things like that. I remember when I lived by myself in Queens, I like would be home all week, and I moved to be closer to work because I was sick of the commute. But every weekend I ended up just driving home to my parents because like there was nobody there. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to have fun or how to hang out, or even like on a budget. Do you know how many things you could like invite somebody out to do and just go have fun with? I'll tell you the things I do now with my friends. I go golfing. I go to the movies. I'll go bowling. It's not like my go-to, but I do have my own bowling ball. I'll have fun. I have a basketball in my car with my ball sneakers. And I'll just go meet people at the courts. I won't even like invite people out to that. I'll just go by myself and I'll play a pickup game with whoever's there. What else do I like to do? I do go to the gym sometimes, although it's been hard. It's really hard to motivate myself to go to a standard membership gym that's crowded. I just cannot stand Planet Fitness. It drives me crazy. At least the ones out here are just always people hogging the machines, and it's just impossible to get a good workout in. So I really thrive off the private gym, and I don't even treat going to the gym as a social thing. So X that one out. That's not something I like doing with friends. And notice and none of these involve going to the bar. Oh, also, what can you do? You can go out to dinner. You can go out to a restaurant. These are all ways to just engage in social behavior with people who you like. And it doesn't matter if you are the friends with them or not friends with them. But I think it's like a super important part of, just going into the world and seeing people. Because when you live terminally online, your perception of the world becomes so jaded. It just becomes like, well, you know, people suck nowadays. They're all on their phone anyways. They're all doing this. Oh, what else did I do? I watched the Knicks. I watched the Knicks last year, and it was just so much fun. You know, everybody's dressed up in their garb, and I don't care that much about watching basketball, but just like the vibe, and even going to the bar and stuff. I got invited out. I got bought drinks, and you get treated. You see different sides of people. So if I have one push for anyone and everyone, it's just to go be more out there, go be social. Doesn't mean you can't be online. Doesn't mean you can't have a good time. But if you're not doing that in some capacity, you're just going to get internet brained. You know, you're going to be seeing the world through that lens of, well, everybody sucks nowadays. You know, it's better if I just stay in and just game. But what happened to me was I really, you know, this is a distinct memory for me in just the whole getting married process. It was at the early stages of wedding planning and having to think of 7 guys that I would call my groomsmen, and like to try and match my wife, you know, with her list, and just really struggling with that list. And that's a shitty place to be in. Not to say like you have to plan this stuff for when you get married or your wedding and stuff, but it's like, you know, I think of the classic Facebook friends list or whatever. Oh, I have like 2,000 friends on Facebook. I don't use Facebook, but that's just, I used to use Facebook, so that's like where the number comes from. Or I have this many followers on Instagram. But do you have 5 people you can count on one hand that you can go to in your times of need? And now I can. Before I couldn't. And the great thing about this whole process of marriage and wedding and all that is like, this really solidified who those guys are for me. So it's reshaped my view of what that means. But anyways, it's just some thoughts for the day. What are yours? What's your social habits? How are you getting out and talking to people? Or are you looking for more ways to do so? I just think really like spend that time, especially if you're finding a lot of time on the weekends or whatever, just invest back in yourself. Invest back in yourself. It's good for your health. It's good for you. And, you know, the drinks, whatever, yeah, maybe it'll offset your fitness goals, but go have a drink. Go have a drink. That's one thing that I was telling one of my family members at the wedding was like, you know, everybody wants to say like, you know, oh, just relax, it's all good. And it's just impossible, like in this whole wedding process. And like the one thing I wanted to hear, go grab a drink. So there's my words to you. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon.